Hey
Hello,
Danielle, how you
everybody.
doing? What's going on?
Welcome, my dear friend. It's so wonderful to see you. I'm so glad that you're safe and sound. I know you guys had a horrible fires in California. Families, okay? So, welcome aboard. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing fine. And how do you feel now that Canada is the 51st state?
I don't even know what to say there. I each that there's certain things that I agree with him, and there's certain things that I, of course, don't agree with him. I don't know what to say there. I'm not a politician, but I think he bite a big piece of a cake, and he didn't. He wasn't. He's not sure exactly what he's biting, But and what do
Well,
you think about your new, basically president?
my mind is blown. It's like what comes out of his mouth blows me away. That's all I can say. He's
And
he's definitely
that's another.
he's definitely a different kind of
Go ahead,
president.
my friend.
Yeah, he's definitely a different kind of president. That's for sure.
And to me, when I look at it, America didn't have too much of a choice. Did we need a change? Yes, we did. Do we need a strong president of such a thing that I am a little bit worried when we are actually going into these, like you're saying, deep politic bites where we are actually having, certain countries being attacked for no reason. I understand that he wants to intervene in Israel and in Palestine. I totally agree with that. But Canada and United States are like two sisters, like we've been always together. So when I see this happening, it makes me actually very sad because, like you're saying, he is a different kind of president. His family also worries me a little bit. They're a little bit cocky. They're a little bit full of themselves. The young boy, special. The videos that I was seeing, it surprises me as much as we are here to support, Christianity, and we don't want jihad and anything. But to say I'm an ex-president and then there is videos and everything, I was like, Christ have mercy. Where are we going with this? So I don't think he just made a really enemy between two countries that were always together, and our people are the same. So I don't like what he's doing there,
So,
if I can be honest.
yeah,
But
don't make enemies
even
with our friends. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
even if you look at the last hockey game, it was so sad. Canadian Americans, 99% they always fight for that trophy. Sometimes there's Finland, sometimes certain Nordic countries are pretty good at it. But it was pretty sad to see that, I understand it's a competition, but after that, we were attacking each other and that brutality went too far. So it makes me sad to see something like that. But I'm hoping that people will wake up, and I'm hoping that people will realize what is being done is wrong. We actually guard each other borders. Like if you talk about NORAD, just a couple hours away from me, because I'm the biggest northern city in Canada. That's where I actually live. So it's sad to see. As much as I support in certain things what he's doing, where we can be protected, served, and work with each other. I don't believe in certain things that he's doing, and that cockiness, and you're also putting your soldiers at the line. So, the men and women in the uniform to go into the brutality with somebody that they shouldn't. So I really, like you say, I don't agree with that. And that's what now we have people on the internet drawing Canadian beaver killing American eagle. Then we have you guys as a 11, 11 province of Canada, because we have 10 provinces and 2 territories. So now we're putting, oh, this is Northern Canada, and you guys are at the bottom are Southern Canada, because people, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. So all these cartoonists are doing their jobs, and I'm like, oh, this is so sad. But that's exactly what's happening. So yeah, but that's what it is. But I can see we have some of the good friends in the chat. I first want to say, Gary, welcome. Gary is our amazing ranch, my great friend, Gemini Moon, John Temperin. God bless you always. Paul, we're gonna have an amazing show today. We're gonna have little bit more time. And I'm sure you're not going to be here for the first or the last time, because we admire you very, very much. So I'm going to ask you the first question. Tell me what you've been up to, what's happening with your paranormal research, what's inside of that unknown world of yours that you always bring so much excitement.
Well, thank you, Danielle. It's nice being here. And for Gary Spikes, hello. How you doing? I got a phone call on the paranormal hotline from a Clyde in Alberta, and he wants me to come down and investigate his house, and also to bless his house. What the ghost is doing is holding the door. So when he tries to go into the house, the ghost is holding the doorknob and won't let him in. And he has to tug it,
Wow.
and then finally the door will open. Then he goes to his bedroom, and the ghost starts holding the door, and he can't get into the bedroom. So he has to pull it, and get the door open. So I'm going to sometime check it out, see what's going on. Maybe there's a door malfunction. I don't know. Or maybe there's a real ghost. I don't know. So, and he wants me to do a cleansing. So I'm going to do a Roman Catholic cleansing. My neighbor, Justin Tramo, his sister-in-law, Nicole, that lives in that house, they said that they want me to bless her house. And the reason why they want me to bless it is because there's a lot of negative activity, and the family members are fighting with each other. And what's causing that negative activity is the previous owners. The previous owners, I knew them. And the lady that used to live there, she was the captain of the neighborhood watch. And if you didn't go to her meeting, she would be talking bad about you. And she was the type of woman, she would walk around the neighborhood and go, your grass is too high, you need to mow your lawn. She was like the neighborhood police. So she was very negative. She was very abusive. Yeah, she was very abusive with her husband and everything else. So I'm going to bless that house, bless the other house in Alberta. And then I've been researching on Mothman being sighted right here in Sacramento, California. And have you ever had any type of Mothman encounter or anything like that in Canada?
I did a research. I did a research, and we did have more than couple, especially near. Actually, there was a couple times that people were reporting that they did see the Mothman. I went to that area actually because it's near the basically the Edmonton Park here, and it's possible because that land was also a land of the first settlers, and also the land of the basically first pioneers. But Aboriginal people used also to live there, and they did their own traditional rituals. So there's
Danielle,
So it's
you're
possible that,
cutting. Oh,
he
yeah.
had seen by the other people, but more than couple people reported to me that they saw it.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm sorry, Danielle, you were cutting in and out a little bit, but I got the last part of it.
Which
Huh? Oh, well, you were talking
Oh, it
about.
cut off. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
repeat it.
yeah. Repeat it. Yeah.
So I had more than a couple people tell me that they had encounters, and that usually those encounters did happen here near the first pioneer city. I've been inside of that city more than a couple times, and actually that's where they have some of the most haunted houses here in Alberta and in Canada, because those are the first settlers. But also that ground was under many First Nations or Aboriginal people. So everybody kind of lived in the old city, or the first 1850 city here in Alberta, and there's many different paranormal activities there. So yes, I did hear about it.
Oh, cool. Let me tell you about the Mothman here in Sacramento. The Sacramento Mothman, and we're all familiar with the Mothman. In November 1966, Mothman was
Hmm.
sighted at a TNT area in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. And
Oh,
this Mothman was seen by multiple witnesses. It even kept pace with a car. This guy and his girlfriend, they saw Mothman, and he had these huge wings, no neck, and it looked like a moth, a huge moth. And he's driving down the road, and he's so scared, he's like almost doing 100 miles per hour. And Mothman was on the side of that car, keeping pace with them. Later on, they encountered like men in black, which were telling them to keep their mouth shut. They
oh,
had this strange looking guy named Ingrid Cold, and he was like wanting them to keep their mouth shut about it too. So it was real weird. Mothman later on was seen in Chicago, Illinois in 2017. And just think now, this actually started back in 1966. Now we're jumping to 1980s in Chernobyl, and then the Chernobyl incident happened. And in Point Pleasanton, Silver Bridge,
wow.
and 47 people died. So a lot of people think that Mothman is a harbinger of doom, that he can predict terrible things that will happen. But in
Oh,
2009, Mothman has been seen a few times right here in Sacramento, and he likes to perch up on the Tower Bridge. And the Tower Bridge in Sacramento is pretty well known. It's a very nice bridge. It's golden in color. But we had a witness named Lamont Greer, and he was a photographer, and he was taking some nice pictures along the Sacramento River and on the bridge. And when he got done, he was putting his camera into his case, and then he looked up and saw this huge humanoid with gigantic wings. And he's like digging back in to get his camera,
wow.
and this thing flew off. And this was actually, he told his story, a very straight up guy. I don't think he was lying, but it was on History Channel's Monster Quest, and it was on News 10. So it was very well publicized. But come to find out, other people are now seeing Mothman on the Tower Bridge. They got this one guy, and I forget what uh, his nickname was, but he goes by his nickname, not his real name. But he said he was by the Tower Bridge, and he saw the teal thunder beast. It's like a huge reptile the size of a cow, and it has four fins. It swims in the water like a seal, and it has a massive skull.
Wow.
Now this isn't nothing about Mothman, but I'm going to get back to that and explain to you how that connects to the Mothman. And then we had two more witnesses,
Mhm.
Dustin Kemp and Carlos Fuentes. And they actually saw this huge humanoid on the bridge, and they thought it was a man going to commit suicide and jump into the river. So,
Wow.
yeah, so they called the police. There was two police officers they investigated. And first the police officers thought they were making up the story, but he did have a picture of what looked like a man wearing all black standing on the bridge. And they had search and rescue go out to the river looking for this man. But Dustin Kemp, who's an employee down in Old Sacramento, and Carlos Fuentes, who works at a restaurant in Old Sacramento, who saw this guy dressed all in black fly away. So again, here we go with Mothman being seen at the Tower Bridge. Nothing bad has happened in Sacramento. So, but I don't think he's a harbinger of doom, but there's a lot of people that theorize that. Um, then we had three witnesses, and you have a lot of nightclubs in Old Sacramento. So you have people who are drinking and stuff like that. But three people who called me on my paranormal hotline claiming that they saw Mothman, and they were all excited and everything else. But I could tell by their speech,
Wow.
they were slurring their words that they saw Mothman, but it was kind of unbelievable because they were drunk. But again, three witnesses. And then we have a person who watched Monster Quest. And so her name's Dora Sanchez. And she wanted to see for
Mhm.
herself if there's Mothman on Tower Bridge. And she heard a loud screeching noise and a big splash into the river. So she doesn't know she's never heard a screech like that. And she thinks it's possibly Mothman, but she didn't see nothing. As for that teal thunder beast, the reptile swimming into the Sacramento River, well, the Sacramento River is very interesting. There's a lot of paranormal activity there. People have seen UFOs in that area. People have seen
Mhm.
ghosts. There's these three camper ghosts or fishermen, and they set up a fire. They look like they're ready to go fishing, but as people approach them, they disappear. So you have ghosts, you have UFOs, you even have large salamanders or giant salamanders that are seen on the embankment, and you have river serpents. I think Sacramento River has some type of portal for these strange creatures to go into their reality and back into our reality. And I think this Mothman actually is coming through a portal in Sacramento River.
Wow. You
Yeah.
know, many people talk about that Mothman, and we have Dr. Dennis from Hunting the Shadows, and he made a very interesting comment. Maybe you can explain a little bit more about that. What do you think? He's saying Mothman is very demonic in nature. Do you agree with that, or what do you think about that? Or is it possible?
I think that Mothman is either an interdimensional type being, or it could even be extraterrestrial, something that maybe extraterrestrials left here on Earth. Um, it seems like it goes in and out of portals. So when the TNT area at Point Pleasant was disturbed, um, that's when Mothman appeared, and they believe that there's a portal there for that Mothman to go to our reality. As if for being demonic, it hasn't done anything against mankind to show that it's evil.
Mhm.
I mean, I've I've done a lot of demonic cases, and let me
Mhm.
tell you, those demonic cases are bad. I mean, really bad. You're talking about people who hear little whispers in their ear, and there's people there. This demonic entity is telling them to commit suicide or telling them to go kill somebody. They had a case uh, in San Francisco where a guy, for no reason at all, left his house, went next door to his neighbor's house, pulled out a knife, and stabbed him several times.
Oh my
When the
Lord.
when the police asked him, they said, "Why did you stab your neighbor?" He says, "An angel told me to. An angel whispered in my ear." That angel
Mhm.
was actually a demon, and the demon
Oh,
told him to kill his neighbor for no reason at all. And you have a lot of cases where people are in prison and they say, "Why are you in prison? Why did you kill your wife, or why did you kill your brother, or whatever?" Because God told me to. Back in the 19 what was it? Yeah, it was the later 1970s. There was a lot of people saying that they saw God or they heard God whisper to
mhm.
them.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And telling them to do something here or do something there that's very bad.
Yeah.
It could be like murder. And it was God told me to do that. And we all know that demons, devils, Satan, whatever, are the great deceivers. So
Yes.
yeah, and they'll tell you, "Hey, I'm an angel." Well, Satan was an angel, but then he now is like the ruler of hell and everything else. So yeah, but I don't think Mothman
That's
is a demon.
very. And you know what? You mentioned this. So we have here Mr. M saying the Mothman is bad luck. Do you agree with that?
Well, yeah. Well, Point Pleasant, they think the Mothman is a harbinger of doom, and the Silver Bridge collapsed. 47 people died. Chernobyl, okay, you had the radioactivity thing going on. So maybe, maybe not. Here in Sacramento, if all these people are seeing Mothman, nothing bad has happened to us. Um, the only thing bad maybe happened in Sacramento is maybe our budget. But that's about it.
No, that's a good one. I love that statement. You know, I'm not sure where budget is good anywhere right now. So I think we are seeing the Mothman everywhere around the world. If he's bringing that kind of bad luck, Little Twisted wrote something, and he's saying MK Ultra. What do you think about that?
Uh, MK Ultra. I mean, yeah, it's a possibility. I mean, if you have some kind of government agency controlling the minds of certain people, making them see things, yeah, there's a possibility there. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Hey,
John Tempering has. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, go
no, no,
ahead,
no,
brother.
no. Oh, he says right now Satan running amok. Okay, okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, Satan right
What do
now
you
is,
think about that? Many people are saying,
well, until you get the second coming of Christ, Satan rules this world till the second coming. I mean, and that's even in the Bible. So, oh, Danielle, I wanted to ask you something. I heard a
please go
rumor.
ahead.
I heard a rumor that you're getting a new dog, a hero dog.
Yes, yes. So I'm so glad you're sharing that. Yeah, I know where you heard the rumor from. So yes, so I'm so happy you mentioning that. And actually, when I informed the two sergeants, they were like so happy. They said this is gonna bring us so much support and so much love. So I want to share our little story with everybody in the chat. Yes, we are getting another friend. Her name is Fam, and she's a beautiful German Shepherd. She was a servant of a narcotic unit in Calgary, Alberta, and I'm going to visit her next week for first time. And we are quite excited. But what Mr. Paul Dale Roberts offer, that entire team here was so excited about it, for me to write a story about Sam, and that we shared inside of the magazine. So this is going to give so much support and so much love to the entire crew that you don't know how happy they were. Yes, so the rumor is truth, and I'm quite excited to meet her. I only saw a couple pictures, but I didn't. Oh, my friend disappeared. So I'm not sure where. So we'll probably get the poll back if Paul can just connect to us back. Yeah, so I'm quite excited. So we're going to just wait for Paul to come back and connect to us because he disappeared from my screen. So we'll just see where is Paul. So I'm going to go here. Hello, everybody. We're just waiting for Mr. Paul to come and connect back to me. It was a little bit of disconnecting. I think it's just the internet is so crazy sometimes. Yes. Yes. I am a lover of the animals, and so is Mr. Paul Dale Roberts. And when he heard this, he was so excited. Said to me, Daniel, please write a story. And I was like, it will be my honor to be inside of your magazine and write a story, of course. And Mr. Scott, yeah, oh, welcome aboard. And Steve Wolf has a beautiful German Shepherd. Are such an awesome dogs. My favorite dog was our child shepherd, Gretchen. Beautiful, yeah. Well, I love animals, so that Mr. Paul. So we're quite excited. I'm just gonna see my friend disappeared. I think is the internet. So we're gonna just see what's happening here because I think it was the connection. So sometimes the connection is just so bad. But yes, you guys, it's the truth. You never know what can happen at each moment. So, Mr. Paul, if you can see me, just connect back to the studio. It will be my pleasure to see you back again here in the studio because we got disconnected. So and another thing, you guys, as you know it, the Paranormal magazine does have many amazing, basically, stories that Mr. Paul does write about it. So it's going to be quite exciting to share the story inside. And when Mr. Paul asked me, I was quite happy. Lila Twisted, thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for showing up and showing so much love. Actually, because this is what this show is all about. So I'm going to just text Mr. Paul. Hello. Can you come back? Mr. Paul just disappeared. I think it's the connection. Maybe it was the Mothman. So another thing that you guys, I want to share with you that many people don't know, but we are, preparing more here on this basically show because we're going to have more and more guests. And of course, next week, it's going to be again me and Dr. Dennis talking more about the prophecies of the Bible and everything. So I'm quite excited. And some of you guys are saying that the Mothman has been seen all around the world. I know he has been seen in New York before 9/11. I know it has been seen even in Ukraine before the war started. Some people are saying that is connected to MK Ultra, like Lila Twisted is saying. So it is quite possible. So I'm just waiting for Mr. Paul to connect. So I don't know what happened, but he just disappeared. disappeared. Another, it's just a connection probably. So let me see. I'm going to send him a message. Sometimes, the connections back and forth, it can be really bad. Another thing that I want you guys to understand, I don't know if you knew, but the Pope is not doing really well. That's another sign that there'll be huge, different kind of signs in the world right now. So when Pope passes away, that means we're going to see changes in the world. So that's going to be one of the first signs of the prophecies that we are coming closer to the second coming of the Christ. So it's going to happen by our time. And also that's going to put the drums of the war, unfortunately. So that's what it is. John Temperin, John Temperin, I must say, it's quite amazing friend, always here to support and give more as much as he can. Another thing that many of you guys don't know, but it's actually when we talk about things like prophecy. So we were talking about paranormal and unknown. So do you guys think that we are not entering the new world of unknown? Of course we are, because we don't know what will happen tomorrow. And then, if we're talking about things like that's going to happen after the basically passing of the Pope, we may expect the second coming of Christ. We may expect more tribulation. We may expect more crisis and even rising of the prices. What is quite interesting, somebody here, I'm just going to find that little... Oh, the Hunting Shadows said something quite interesting, in that there is evidence that Mothman could have been possibly conjured to the witchcraft. I'm not sure if you guys do know, but there is more and more witchcraft happening right now. And basically, before when we were kids, all different kind of things were be just kind of under the table. Today, we have more of that stuff that you can find inside of the stores. I'm talking about bookstores, libraries. We're used to educate yourself and bring happiness and more education to each other. Now you're actually getting more of the, if we can say, scary stories and how to harm each other. Ouija board and things like that. I don't think it should be sold in the regular stores, but that's what is happening right now. So is it possible, as Hunting the Shadows is saying, that we are having more and more witchcraft, and that's why we do see Mothman, because the portals are opening? I'm quite open to that idea, because it is possible. It is possible that more and more people are actually, experiencing things like that. Mr. Paul, I think he's having an issue, and his connection just disappeared, and I'm just trying to reach him back, but it doesn't look that Paul can be reached. Is just disconnected. Maybe it is a bad luck, you guys. Maybe it is the Mothman that block us with this connection. You never know what is happening. And then let me see. Okay, there we go. Hunting the Shadows saying, some say that the last pope before the false prophet. This is another story. I totally agree. By the prophecies of the Bible, the last prophet, false prophet, we will actually see the last pope. So if this is the last pope, as we calculate by the Bible and by the prophecies, so he will be the last one before we see Satan raising on the throne or sitting inside of the temple and trying to pretend and do all these tricks. Like, he can walk on water, he can raise the dead, he can do... I actually think this is going to be all done by artificial intelligence. I don't think it's going to be done by the power of the God or power of, superhuman being. Because I'm a mortal human being, I love to joke, I think 99.99% of all of us are. But if, this is the last pope, I agree with Hunting the Shadow, this is going to be the last time that we are talking to each other in this way, because the entire world will change. Nothing will be like it is today. The world will change, and nothing will be the same. This morning when I was watching the news, and my sister helps me a lot. And I want to say also thank you to my sister and to my mom that always help me and support me through my entire work. She told me that this morning Pope was quite ill, and that they're finding that there's more water on the lungs, the kidneys are failing, and unfortunately, he's old. He is old, ladies and gentlemen, but it's quite possible. And then Mr. M is saying the Pope aren't good people. And that's another thing. Since the last Pope that was married, and that's Pope Alexander. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Pope did get married, and he did have children before they changed everything after the 14th conclave. He did have children. He did have wife. He even had a concubine that he loved, and he was kind of going around being very busy. And basically, that's what happened. But it's true. Many of them are not such a good people, and because Vatican, was ruled by the Pope, and then many things that change. I'm thinking that's why the World War II and many struggles that went through it and unfairness to the others brought us to things. But I think that's what it is. But we do have Paul back. Welcome back.
Wow. I got
Okay.
kicked off. Danielle, I got kicked off.
And I'm like, I lost my friend. What happened to my friend? And I started laughing, and I'm like, okay, but everybody in here, welcome back, our amazing Mr. Paul Dale Roberts. He is back here with us, and we are now enjoying his company. You know what, Paul? It could be that was the Mothman, the bad luck.
They wanted me to keep my mouth shut.
There you go.
And Danielle,
you just disappeared. And I'm like, where's my guest?
Danielle, and what? I didn't even hear about your dog.
Yes. So you wanted to hear that. So everybody was so happy to hear about it. So I was saying, Sammy is beautiful. And I said, how kind you were to say, Daniel, write a story about this beautiful dog. And I said, it's quite an honor. The entire team is quite excited, to have so much support, because people will read, people will understand, people can donate, people can support. And this is something that makes everybody happy, because these are, most of the time you look for the men and women in uniform, but these guys are the most, I think, trustworthy, somebody who can always respect and count on. Nobody, they will never betray us. The other day, Paul, my mother, we were watching this terrorist movie. I forgot, London Falling Down. Yeah. And then out of the blue, there was a dog running. And there's my mother watch, goes like, oh, he's the only one who will not betray you. The other ones, I'm not sure about it. So we started, but the truth, what is, yes, I'm quite excited. I'm meeting her next week. She's beautiful. She's very beautiful. She did serve for 6 years, almost 5.5, almost 6. But after 5 years, they start to go into the pension. They're still very young. So she was quite brave, because she was part of the narcotic unit on Calgary airport. So she was a brave young lady that protected many of our people that are flying in and out the country, and serving us and protecting us from many things. So I'm excited. I know you saw her pictures. You saw how beautiful she is. Yeah. So I'm excited. I cannot wait for her and Maggie to meet. I think it's going to be quite excitement. Wow. So she's going to have a big sister now, somebody to watch out for her. My sister, when she saw her for the first time, she goes like, look how smart she is. And you can see in her eyes, she's very smart. And
now she has a beautiful forever home. She'll have a beautiful forever home.
Yes, thank you. And my mother, at the beginning, she was like, okay, I said, meet her first, and then because we always are used to the small dog, but she's trained, and she's quite amazing. And to me, I want all of you guys to know, if you can please, it doesn't matter if you're Canada, America. We have a couple people on Instagram. We have Steve, Ivan, and Natasha that are in Europe. So that's why I also watch on the Instagram. I want to say, adopt a dog, you guys, a cat, a bird. It doesn't matter. Find a good dog, animal there that they need a good home. And also, don't let them be forgotten. I get really stressed out, Paul, when I see the people, toss out the dog, the cat, the bird. It doesn't matter. There is a one video, I couldn't sleep for days. I'm being honest. That I saw the bird, and the bird didn't have feathers. It was a parrot. It was like a green. It wasn't a cockatiel. I forgot the name of it. African something. Very nice. A green parrot. And they said the bird was so abused, and basically that this guy and this family, when they were yelling around the home, so the bird started losing the feathers, and whenever he would get angry, he would use a pen and hit the parrot across the head. And I was like, what kind of human being you are? It's quite disgusting to see that. Unfortunately, we do have people like that. But yes, I'm excited. And I also get really sad, Paul. You mentioned something very important. As much as we need to support each other, we need to support the animals too, and give them these loving homes. And yes, and that's what I think. I see Steve Wolf is here. I see Andrew Trucking is here. Scott. Many people are joining. Yes, it's an African macaw. Yes, Andrew, thank you so much. That was the name of a parrot. Thank you. So maybe even if you saw it, I was in tears. I couldn't believe what kind of human being you can be to do things like that. And I have a good friend, and I can say I'm really honored to know him, Dr. Ian, who owns here Mika's house. He said the birds are also very, very abused, and people just shoot them. They don't care. It's like it's just a thing that flies, so let me play with it. So it's quite sad, but I'm so glad that many of you guys are also lover of the animals as much as me and Mr. Paul are. Yes, Paul, your rumor is correct.
Yeah. Thank you. And yes, and animals are
You
just so precious. I mean, I have two dogs, and also too, I feed my squirrels that come by here. I feed the raccoons. I feed the opossums. I feed the feral cats. So they all have food. I take care of. If they come to my house, I'm feeding them. So, and it breaks my heart when people are cruel to animals. And one of the things that I saw, and it just made me cry. This guy was in a truck, and he pulls up at the park and throws a dog out of his truck, and he takes off, and the dog is chasing the truck. I take off looking for that dog because he's running after that truck. I couldn't find him, but it was so sad that someone is just going to toss like garbage this poor animal. And his heart's broken and everything else. So, why do people do stuff like that?
I always said that human beings are worse than animals. Paul, you've been serving in a military. You've been through a lot in your life. Your book is basically, your life is like a book. You have so much knowledge, and I always say that the people, what we do to each other, not what animal will do. The way we harass, abuse each other, the way we abuse the entire planet, not what animal will do, because what we do to each other, it's quite horrible. And I think you would agree with me on that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It is disgusting, when we see that. But to go back a little bit on your paranormal magazine, tell me what's new there, what we can find inside of the any new stories there that you wrote that we can actually hear about it, that you can share here with
Well,
us.
I've been doing some research, and it has to do with something in Canada. You want to hear about it?
Please share.
Okay.
Yes,
Have
of
you
course.
in Canada? Have you ever heard of the Valley of the Headless Men?
Yes,
You
but please
have?
share with our
Oh,
guests. Yes, please share with
oh,
our
okay.
guests. Yes.
Yeah, it's a base. It's over at Nahami National Park Reserve, which is the Decho region of the Northwest Territories in Canada.
Mhm.
And people vanish. You got hikers, campers, and everything else that mysteriously disappear. Now, if they do find your body, what is really odd, and this isn't happening anywhere else in the world, but your head is missing.
Yes.
Yeah, and the first one was in 1908, and this guy was looking for his two brothers. He finds them, everything's intact, their body and everything else, but they were both missing her head. No animal is just going to take your head. They're going to, if you have a wild animal and he's hungry, he's going to go for your stomach, which is soft.
Yes.
He might do a little bit on your rump or your maybe your thigh area, maybe your eyes or something like that. But he's not going to take your head and then leave all the rest alone, and that doesn't even make sense. In
No.
19 Yeah, and then in 1917, some prospector he was missing for a while. They find him, and he's missing his head. 1945, a little boy, no head. They find this little boy out there, no head, and they said that in this area, the winds sound like they're whispering something, like they're talking to
Mhm.
you. It's really
Wow.
creepy. They found 250 caverns over there. And this one explorer, he went into the cavern and he found 116 Dall sheep dead. What
Wow.
killed those Dall sheeps? Um, so you have people who are vanishing without a trace. Sometimes strange lights are seen in the night sky or UAPs. And there's been talk of seeing Bigfoot out there. So is it a Bigfoot tribe that's taking the heads off these people or making them disappear? So that's a very interesting. I don't know if I would actually want to investigate because I don't want to lose my head. You
Yeah.
know
And
that's
and yeah, John Temperain is sharing something quite interesting, and he's saying, alien head hunters. So, is it possible? Uh, Mr. M is saying Bigfoot is my spirit animal. Quite amazing. If you look, Canada is full of the unknown and the mystery because we are a big, big country, and many of our land is not even touched. But then we have a very big history. And when we talk about, especially about that area, there is possibility of portals. There's possibility of extraterrestrials. Some people are saying that it's cursed by the First Nation. So I never been in that area. I don't want to lie to you, but I know, of course, about the story. It's quite famous here in Canada. But you know what? Maybe we should all pack and go together. And you never know what can happen. But the truth, what is it quite interesting? Of course, it is because it's something that it's mysterious and unknown. But yeah, but I'm sure that people, when they go there, many say that they experience extraterrestrials, like different beings, that they felt the energy around them. Some they say that they even hear the voices. Other people are saying that there is electromagnetic fields there. So there's a lot of story there, and some are saying that Aboriginal people put a spell because that was their territory, and that basically because of a tribal issues, that's what they did to protect the area. What's quite possible too.
And the alien headhunters, that kind of makes sense. I mean, your head contains your brain, so maybe maybe they're taking your head so they can study your
Yeah,
brain. I don't know.
possible.
Weird.
Yeah, I don't know either. Possible. Anything else that you hear about Canada?
um, well, Canada's got all kinds of stuff going on over there. I mean, you have a lot of ghosts. You have Bigfoot out there. We have Bigfoot. We have ghosts too. But I mean, everything we have, you guys have. So
Oh yes, of course.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's not like they're not gonna pass over. For them, there's no even border or the passport. So they have their openings anywhere. But in your paranormal magazine, because you being an editor and an author and writer, you always come with these impressive stories. So anything else that you would like us to know that you start doing the research or studies on? So, for example, we know about the valley here in Canada.
Oh well, my stepmother Cindy, she's a world traveler. She doesn't travel that much now because she's pretty old. Um, but she's been to Saint Tropez, France, and that's where a bunch of
Hmm.
celebrities hang out at. They have beaches, it's beautiful. They got the nightlife, a lot of history, but also too, there's been reports recently of people seeing Barbary pirates at this
Oh.
location. Yeah, these Barbary pilots are ghosts, and so it's kind of interesting that people go there to have fun because of it's so beautiful and the nightlife. And they want to dance and everything else, but also too, if you're a ghost hunter, is a perfect place with all this history. You can try to go out there and see if you can encounter Barbary pirates, and they got this in one of the Victorian homes over there. They have a lady in blue that's seen all the time. She floats around and makes her appearance
Oh.
known and stuff like that. So yeah, I've been to France. I've been to Paris, France, and Versailles, France, and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
so many
Okay.
places in France that are haunted. I mean, I went into the Paris catacombs and you saw all those
Oh yeah.
skulls and everything, all the bones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to Notre Dame. I've been to the Eiffel Tower, the Arch de Triomphe, um, and all those places because of the history and so old and everything else are very haunted. I heard many tourists talking about their encounter with a ghost or something like that. When I was in Paris, I wasn't a ghost hunter yet, but I was very curious about the paranormal. And the only time I felt kind of creeped out is in the Paris catacombs. Um, I felt like there was somebody walking behind me, and it shouldn't be anybody behind me. I mean, the people were in front of me.
Hmm.
I was the very last person back there because I was kind of like checking things out. But I kept on hearing someone walking behind me. And there was a time when I was turning the corner and I felt like a hand on my shoulder. So that was kind of spooky.
Oh,
Yeah. And I would love to go back out there, but
wow.
yeah,
I
yeah.
have a quite.
Have you been to
Oh
Paris?
yeah, I have a funny question, an
You've been to
interesting question
Paris,
from.
Daniel?
No, no, no. I have a auntie I should say, my grandpa's first cousin living there from the World War II. But no, I wasn't. It's on my list to go. I have a question from you, Anne from Switzerland, from Instagram. She's saying, "Are those pirates handsome like Johnny Depp?" So I said I will ask.
Hey, I mean, ghosts used to be people, so if they were handsome in real life, they're going to be handsome as a ghost, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, you never know. It's quite interesting. Always the people, whenever they think about the pirates, people still thinking about Pirates of Caribbean and all those beautiful, movies. What do you think now that we are on the pirates and treasures and chests? Did you ever encounter really, or on your travels, did you ever encounter an island that is haunted by pirates or stories about hidden treasure?
Yeah, I've been to areas. I've been to St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, and of course, pirates were there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, I myself, my last name is Roberts, and when I went to
Yes.
Cardiff, Wales, I found out I was related to Bartholomew Black Bart Roberts, which was a pirate.
Wow.
So yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And here's the weird thing. But my mother, she claims that she is related to a pirate Lafitte. And
Ah.
I looked at the family chart, and there are some Lafittes there. So I don't know
Oh.
if that's kind of weird because my dad is related to Bartholomew Roberts, and then my mother is related
Mhm.
to the pirate Lafitte. So I don't know. I mean, that is blows me away. So it looks
Mixing
like
of
I have some
pirates in the
under me.
family. Wow. That's
Yes.
maybe why you're full of adventures. You're always full of adventures and outgoing things. So that's quite amazing. Uh, Paul. It's always pleasure to have you here. And just to tell you guys, this is not going to be the first time that I have Paul here. I'm going to have Paul back. Again, thank you so much for inviting me to write a story for your magazine. It's going to be my pleasure, and I want to say thank you so much. That means a lot to all of us that are animal lovers. Where people can find you, where people can contact you, and where we can find your lovely books.
Danielle, it's very simple. All they have to do is just Google my name, Paul Dale Roberts, and my articles will pop up. My contact information, like my email address, will pop up. Or if they're interested in any of my books, Paul Dale Roberts books. And now I'm doing free books. They're actually, all you have to do is email me, and my books are now ebooks, and they're completely free. They asked me, well, did you want to sell them? And then I said no. I said if they're going to be ebooks, make it free. So yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. So you guys did hear this amazing author, a writer and editor. So he's offering you some free books. So go inside of that knowledge, mystery into unknown together with the wisdom and knowledge of Mr. Paul Dale Roberts. Again, Paul, it was amazing time to have you here. And it's always a pleasure to have you here. Like I'm saying, I'm gonna call you back very soon, and thank you for inviting me again to be taking a part inside of your magazine on the behalf of all of the loving animals and people that love animals. I want to say thank you. How people can contact you if they have a story to share with you.
Oh, sure. They can email me. And also, too, Danielle, thank you for having me on the show. I always enjoy being here on the show and talking to you. You're very knowledgeable and you got all this great information. So I always love
Oh,
it.
thank you.
And my email is
Thank you.
Jasma. You're welcome. Jasma Online. JAZMAONLINE, jasmaonline at gmail.com. So if you have a good story, email it to me. And if you want me to publish it in my ebook, I will be happy to. And my ebooks are found on Google Play and Google Books. And what I like about Google, oh my God, Google Books and Google Play, it's there forever. So, Daniel, I know you write books and everything. If you just, and you don't mind giving away your books for free, that's a great place and it's there forever and ever.
Well, again, thank you everybody for joining me. Like I'm saying, Mr. Paul, thank you so much. I'm glad that first of all you're safe and sound, and that your family is okay. Guys, this is not gonna be the last time that I have Mr. Paul Dale Roberts here. Again, thank you, Paul. You have a wonderful evening. God bless you all and your family. God bless everybody inside of the chat. Please love each other, love the animals. Let's all be one beautiful family, because that's what this world is all about. God bless you all and have a wonderful good night.